Alright folks, and welcome back to the Don's channel. I am the Donfather and this is hashtag AFL Car Chat. Just a brief discussion. I did mention the Stratton pinching incident yesterday. I forgot to mention the ongoing saga with security measures in place in footy grounds for crowd control, etc. Apparently there's been a few dust-ups in the crowd. I don't know if it's individually or if it's like full-scale riots between opposing supporters or indeed same team. I do not know the background of why they've put in these security measures at AFL, but it has led to an apology from the AFL chief. I think it's a situation, from what I've been reading and talking to people about, that isn't going to go away in a hurry. How do you deal with crowd violence? Well, I noticed in the AFL you do have the fans mingling together. Nobody wants to see the sport become that violent where you have to separate the fans. It still is quite a peaceful crowd. I've not seen anything to show me that it needs heightened security measures. I mean, at the end of the day, these are footy supporters. They're not criminals. Don't treat them that way. If individual things happen, deal with it when it happens, but don't have this presence of heightened presence of security guards patrolling up and down through the stands, through the seating section, actually heightening tensions and increasing tensions, actually almost provoking violence, because they're going to be like, the crowd are probably going to retaliate at the security measures that have been put in place. So actually it's not very helpful in my opinion. Deal with little incidents, because there will be incidents. Maybe somebody's took too much beer or something's broke out. You just don't know. It can happen. Emotions can overflow, and football games are highly emotional affairs, with two opposing sets of teams maybe going for different things. Whatever the background story, it is an emotional sport, and things can overboil. But when that happens, deal with that incident then. That's my opinion and take on it. You don't need to treat fans like they're criminals. And to my knowledge, from what I've seen, footy is an absolutely amazing crowd. There's no trouble. It feels like a real family vibe. I'm not saying things don't happen, the odd dust up, the odd fist fight, but it's like absolutely nothing compared to what I've seen in my life growing up, going to football grounds, soccer grounds around Scotland. It's a lot more violent than anything I've seen in the AFL, and the fans do need separated. There is weapons being brought to games or outside games and stuff like that there. It can overflow between rival clubs. I haven't seen anything in footy Aussie rules to suggest that that's the case there. So decrease the security. Treat the fans like fans. Don't treat them like criminals. You don't need to have a heavy-handed approach. All that does is increase tensions and also increase the likelihood of violence. So something you're saying you're trying to deter, you're actually provoking. That's my take on it anyway. We've also seen an incident of a security guard entering the field of play between North Melbourne and the Giants. Absolutely astonishing. He came from the standing area, or the seated area, sorry, onto nearly over the boundary line, and great umpiring said, look, get back. I think he was actually quoted in saying, and heard saying, look, you can't enter here. We don't need you. It's under control, kind of a thing. But it was just a little skirmish between two players from two different clubs, and it was easily broke up. That's all it was. A bit of a handbags, a bit of pushing and shoving, a bit of a I've got a bigger dick than you have kind of a thing on the field of play. Why does the security from the stand feel like he has to enter? I don't know. Questions need to be asked about that. Maybe he's had a bit of a brain wobble. I'm not too sure. I believe today also, as I said, I mentioned the Stratton thing briefly. He will be up for review today, which is Tuesday the 18th. So we'll see how that goes. I hope he gets suspended, because it's absolutely dirty tactics. You call it stomping, I would call it stamping as well. He's had an incident of stamping on someone's feet. It's dangerous play at the end of the day. You could break the guy's metatarsals in his foot, and he's out of action for a few weeks. So he's trying to hurt somebody, so he should not be able to play for a couple of weeks, in my opinion. He'll probably only get a week. It should be a week for each incident. Pinching is petty stuff, guys. Come on. He looks like a big unit of a boy, Stratton. He's also a very good player. He's a Hawks legend, really. They say, well, I don't know about legend, but he's a very well-respected player. He doesn't need to be doing that stuff. It's quite girly. It's quite pathetic school ground stuff. Don't do it. It's embarrassing. You've actually embarrassed yourself. I feel sorry for you. Don't do it again. People says this is out of character. Well, that has been blown out of the water now, because there's a Melbourne Demons player actually came forward and saying he's actually got previous for doing this, history of doing this. He's done it to him, or he's done it to a player in his team, so he's aware of Stratton doing this. He's just never been caught before. The crime is getting caught, as they say. It's never going to be reviewed until you're caught. So if he is doing it, it's not something he's just had a brain wobble on the day. His history in doing this, according to the Melbourne Demons player, allegedly. So if that's the case, then throw the book at him. Pinching's pathetic. And if they're going to let it continue and they don't hammer him now, all it does is spread rise for this type of petulant behaviour, this niggly stuff. Pinching someone in the back of the arm is a highly irritating thing to happen to you, and your initial reaction as a man is to lash out, and that's what's going to happen. These umpires were standing watching this happen. It's absolutely pathetic that they haven't broke it up and they've left the player with no other option than to stand there like, are you not going to do something here? Credit to the Essendon man. He's took it all game and he's never retaliated, but he's a better man than what most players would be, because a lot of players would have planted one on the chin, and you couldn't blame them for doing it. Let's be honest here. Hammer him now and hammer anybody else that thinks pinching's okay and stamping is dangerous play. But it will happen. Stamping will happen. And that is a rush of blood. There and then, bang. It is dangerous play. It does deserve a ban. But the pinching thing's even more annoying because there's no real major rules in play for it yet. But this guy, Stratton, could be the scapegoat now. He could be the one that is the scapegoat and the guinea pig of the suspensions coming in, the fines coming in. Well, I think there's already fines for pinching, but heavier fines, heavier suspensions, as I said, for it, because let's get rid of it. If you're not going to let people punch, don't let people pinch, because when people pinch, people might punch. So pinch, punch, whatever, I would punch him. I'm not saying I would beat him in a fight. I'm just saying my initial reactions would be, if he pinched me, I'm cracking him in the jaw. And I would say that's exactly the same for anybody else that would be on that field of play that day. So credit where credit's due. He never retaliated, but poor umpiring for not stopping him. And also, let's see what happens. Hopefully the ban does come into play. And I'm sure he's sorry. I'm sure he is embarrassed about it now. But if it is true that he's doing it every week, he's only sorry because he's now getting done. That's my take on it. If it's something that's proven that he does regular, then he's only sorry now that he's actually going to a disciplinary hearing. That's the reason why he's sorry, not because, oh, this is out of character from me. So, as I say, it's alleged that he does it every week, but he is a top pro by the sounds of it. So let's see, take his punishment on the chin and come back in a week or two's time to play again. And let's forget about it and move on. But the crowd violence thing doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. So that seems to be one of the major talking points this week. I'm not sure of anything else developing. The crazy thing as well with the security running on the field of play, I do not know what is happening there. That needs to be better training for the security guards at these grounds, especially now that we're coming deeper into the season, towards knockout football, towards the finals football. You can't have these things happening, because the sport has been played in a highly competitive fashion. There was nothing really majorly wrong with what was going on. I think it was Zeeble and Green maybe at each other. I can't really remember off the top of my head who it was when he ran on at the time that was doing it, but it was a very physical game, and that's the way it should be played. That's how Aussie rules should be played. A competitive sport, physical hits, big bumps, great tackles, all in the name of competitive sport, and we don't want to see that change. So it was absolute lunacy for him to be running on there, and the umpire did have it under control. They're professionals, they know what they're doing, they're going to stop it eventually and move on. The game was still going on around him. I don't know what he was trying to do. It just goes to show, have they been sent out with an agenda, with right, get in the face of anybody that causes any trouble? I don't know, and it's spilled out now where they think they're like gods or something and they can run on the field to play. I don't know. Mental. I've never seen the likes of that either, especially with just something so petulant like what we're seeing on the field of play. But anyway, really, let's not distract from a really good weekend of footy. I felt like I had to talk about that because I did mention the Stratton pension, and somebody says no, but there's something developing even bigger with the crowd control that's going on now, the heightened security measures. So I did want to cover it. It is something I was aware of happening at the weekend as well. I never really dug into it too deeply because I didn't want to take the gloss or the shine of the actual great footy that we did see, and there's going to be a lot more great footy to come. Some games are really tight to call. I'm looking forward to it anyway, so stay tuned for my live reactions that I might have this weekend, and also my reviews as always, car chats as always, and reactions. I mean, I done Chris Judge yesterday. Wow, he blew me away with just how good he was. He's been requested a lot of times. I'm surprised I didn't actually get my teeth into him quicker, but I'm glad I never, because it gave me something to do this week. I was going to do a little bit more of the history of the sport and not really cover as many individual players, but he was requested a few times, so I thought, do you know what, I'm going to do Chris Judd, and I was absolutely delighted I did it. 2 Brownlow medals is sensational by any measure. Really impressed with him. He just had it all. If you haven't seen my reaction to it, I do kind of explain my reactions to him, and he is somebody I'm going to watch more videos on and probably do a little bit more reading about and do a little bit more research about, just his individual awards, the awards he got at team level as well, like things that he won with his teams. I know he won the grand final with the Eagles in 2006. Presume he won the Brownlow then, I'm not too sure, but he's won 2 Brownlow medals, so he's an absolute legend of the game, and somebody I thoroughly enjoyed watching. I also did the game between the Magpies and the West Coast Eagles last year, the grand final. Don't Believe in Never, I've done a reaction to that. Absolutely outstanding video put together by the AFL, so huge credit to them for that. Really well put together, and it gave you quite a little bit of goosebumps watching it. Just the way the story was told, but absolutely outstanding. I won't ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen it. I'm sure anybody who watches AFL will know exactly what I'm talking about, but going down that last minute or two, wowzer. Absolutely legendary story, and I loved it. Thanks very much, as always, for tuning in to my car chats. I thoroughly enjoy doing the car chats. One of my favourite things to do, and I know people want me to continue to do it. All it is just discussing the AFL, reviewing things, just talking all good things about AFL, or big major talking points like we've had at the weekend as well, out with the actual footy field of play. So, thanks again. For anybody who doesn't know, you can actually support the channel through Patreon, which is patreon.com/the Dons channel, which is all one word, and I will put the description in the link below. And don't forget to subscribe and put the notifications bell on as well. Thanks again, everyone. I am the Donfather. Peace and goodbye.